Good evening to one and all. On behalf of Philosophy family, it's my pride privilege to extend a happy welcome to all the teachers and students of philosophy of our country to be associated with this academic platform which which is held every Sunday. And friends, on the screen I can see the faces of Brindavan sir, Professor Ruma Wani madam, Antarjami, Samitri, Suraj, and all others. I'm happy to see them. Their participation will encourage us in further philosophical thinking. Friends, today we have a very beautiful topic that is law and morality, a critical approach. And today we have invited Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak, Head, Department of Philosophy, Udayanath Autonomous College of Science and Technology, Oraspur, Odisha, and Professor Bijay Nayak is very popular in Odisha for his novel way of philosophical reflection. Today, he will reflect on the law and morality. You know, this topic will determine the specific areas of the relationship between law and morality, and it can also show a dichotomy between law and morality, though the term law happens to be very complex and subject to have different distinctions. However, let me speak about Professor Nayak towards his introduction. I will not speak much because he is my batchmate in postgraduate level, and Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak has already served 32 years in teaching both UG and PG level, and his way of teaching has inspired thousands of students in that college. I extend my congratulations to Professor Nayak. You know, Professor Nayak had secured second topper in post-graduation studies in Utkal University. He also did his MPhil from Utkal University. Now he is pursuing his doctorate degree in IIT Mumbai on the topic the dignity of man in special reference to Immanuel Kant and Bhagavad Gita. And this topic may be a part of his doctoral research, and we all will be benefited by his talk and his critical way of thinking, explanation, and analysis will inspire us for for a new way towards law and morality. So today I don't want to speak much of him, and he's associated with IPC, AOPA, and other philosophical forums of our country. Professor Nayak uh, has also contributed many journals in state level, national level, and international level. I congrat I congratulate him for his philosophical journey. And today I welcome Professor Naik. I also welcome Professor the convener and the host of Philosophy Family. He has taken a key role in organizing hundreds number of webinars in Philosophy Family for the cause of philosophical reflection. I can see Professor Srinivasan on the screen. I extend my pranam to Professor Srinivasan His presence always inspires us and encourages us. And today, with this, I also welcome Professor Dr. K. Omnan, with the regular moderator of Philosophy Family. With this, once again, I extend my hearty welcome to all of you and request my friend Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak to commence his talk. Over to Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak.
Thank you, Professor Maharana. Professor Srinivasan is with us. Namaskar, sir. Professor K. Naranam Rao, Professor
Namaskar, sir.
Pramod Kumar Das, and all learned l- professors, participants, and lovers of wisdom. What Professor Maharana says that it is much more than what I deserve. In All Orissa Philosophy Association, on 23rd January, at the time of dinner, I was asking um, Pramod Kumar Das, the initiator of the noble idea of creating the philosophy family. I told him that Pramod Babu, I am really a debtor to you because I have learned many things, but I have not contributed anything to the family. He immediately asked me, Sir, please, coming Sunday, you please come to join with us and have a discussion on the topic that you told in the AOPA, All Orissa Philosophy Association. I agreed immediately, I agreed. And told him that yes, definitely, I will contribute something from my understanding, what I have understood. The two concepts, that morality and law. A critical approach. I have divided my discussion into three parts. What is law? What is morality? Can there be a relation between them from Kantian approach? Am I audible to you, Professor
Yes,
Maharana?
yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
clearly audible.
Okay. First of all, I must say that law, what is law? As you know, that law is a system of rules recognized by a country or community, regulating the actions of its members and enforced by the imposition of penalties. That means law is a concept from which rules are followed. Without law, there cannot be rules. Rules are special, but law is the general one, concept one. The definition that law is a codification of rules signifies that it is different from the natural laws. Why? Because natural laws are the laws that occurs in nature. But when I speak of law as a codification, it is a codified form of rules. It means the positive laws or the laws that are made by human beings. It may be the laws made by human beings may be in the form of either a codified one, or in some societies it is in a disorganized way in the form of tradition or custom, right? And these positive laws may be national, international, constitutional, public, private, civil, criminal, or administrative, and so on. It is a common rule enforced by the authority or the state to which every citizen or members is bound to obey, and its infringement leads to punishment by the authority. But the question is, why there is a law? Why law is made by the authority or the state? A law is made to bring control over the fulfillment of blind desires and instincts of human beings, and to maintain a harmonious and peaceful existence for all. That means it is an instrument of social change. A law creates conditions for all in terms of restraining others' interference with one's freedom of thought, expression, and enjoyment of rights and duties. We can find out its source in custom, religion, scientific discussion, adjudication, equity, and legislation. What general sense? What we mean exactly? Morality, use the word morality and ethics interchangeably, because there is a difference between morality and ethics. But here I have used them seriously. Ethics or morality are the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong, good and bad conduct, human conduct. Its nature may be the nature or the may descriptive, visual. It has various sources such as cultural, religious, personal, or philosophical. There is also a concept called group morality or customary morality. What is group morality or customary morality? A set of practices that is followed by the generations after generations without any reflection. It is basically imitative and repetitive, in which there is no creativity at all. This is because we are doing this because our forefathers were doing this. So we are now in that sort of practice. This is a customary morality. Once upon a time, people believed that a woman had no right to live if her husband died before her. Her life had to be sacrificed in the funeral rites of her husband. Not only this is called Satidaha Pratha, not only the practice of sati, but also the practice of casteism, slavery, child marriage were prevalent among people, and it was practiced from generation to generation without any reflection. Had it been a matter of practice, I mean to say that if morality had been a matter of practice, then it would have been going on still, but the scenario has changed. So, if morality is not custom, if it is not always a habit, then what it is? The morality based on insight and understanding and free from any taboos, so to say, scientific temper with the advancement of science and technology could be able to eradicate all such social and moral evils in the name of ethics and morality. Because in the name of ethics and morality, we have many blind practices, we have many blind beliefs, due to which human civilization could not be able to progress. So, what happened due to the development of science and technology, this idea changed. And this is not due to the imitation, but due to the reflection of some enlightened persons in the society. Both this is the general meaning of morality, what we normally mean, without interfering into the principles of normative, so many normative principles. But however, the ground of law and morality is common. What is common? The common is that they both operate in human society. Human society is the common platform in which morality and law work together. If the ground is the common, then are they same? No. The answer would be no, because laws are imposed externally, and morality is a matter of internal affair. Meaning thereby, violation of law leads to punishment, but the violation of morality leads one to remorse and anguish, because no one is there to punish one if one is immoral. If one becomes immoral, no one is there to punish him or her. It is only his conscience, it is only his reason or her reason that is the authority to give him or her the penalty in terms of remorse and contentment. So the point is that laws are imposed, but morality is self-imposed. Whether I should be moral or not, that depends upon me. But whether I would obey a law or not, that is not under my jurisdiction, because that has already been imposed on me. If I violate that law, I will get punishment. Punishment is there, but something different in case of morality. So the result of violation of morality is results are anguish and remorse. The state or the authority is the supreme of law. In case of divine law, it is God. But conscience is the supreme of morality. When I say conscience, what does it really mean? What is the meaning of conscience? Here, conscience means that which appeals to reason, which appeals to reason. What is conformed to law is right or lawful, Sorry, what is conformed to law is right or lawful, and what is contrary to it is unlawful or unjust. But in the case of morality, what is conformed to the moral principle is right, and contrary to it is morally wrong. Law is made according to the needs of a country. It is called the law of the land. But does it make sense to say morality of this community or country? Can care and concern for others means both human and non-human, be confined to a country alone? Can we say that it is our morality? Perhaps the answer would be no. Can a man, can we say that it is our morality? Certainly no. Can a man of moral character think only of one's country? Yes, one can think of the welfare of one's country only, but it is not at the cost of the welfare of the other. Right? Yes, we have certain concepts like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the idea of Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःख भाग भवेत्. These are the appeals not for the countrymen but for the men of the world. It appeals, all these things, all these concepts appeal for the welfare of the whole cosmos. That means morality is beyond caste, color, creed, sex, gender, climate, and culture and geography. But law is something different. It is confined to a country, but morality is something that crisscrosses all sorts of diversities. Of course, the way of existence and sustenance vary from region to region. The way of existence and sustenance vary from region to region, and the law to bring harmony among them also differs. But morality is not confined to region only. We are not concerned with how one lives, but how one behaves, takes care of, and is concerned with others. In this sense, morality is neither pleasure nor the greatest good of the greatest number, nor for others minus me, nor sacrifice, nor self perfection without concern for the other, but the care and concern for all. All means me and others. It includes both. It is not required that I have to sacrifice myself for the welfare of the other, or I have to excel at the cost of the others. No, it is to excel and let others excel. This is what I perceive, that morality is just like this. From the above, it is clear that what is legal may not be moral, and what is moral need not be legal. There is no necessary connection between them. Law is a matter of fact, though it may arise out of moral convictions. Laws sometimes go by the general, not sometimes, laws always go by the general will. It arbitrarily fixes the time limit, and takes the grievances of subjects in the majority, then passes the law in the legislature with a majority of votes if it is a democratic country. Law is somehow passed like this because a democratic country always prefers to the majority but neglects the minority. And morality doesn't include majority and exclude minority. It is concerned with all. It seeks to find out a solution where all would get a chance for their development, for their self development. This is morality. Morality is a value arising out of the reflections on the existing scenario and what has already been codified. In this sense, morality is reflective and progressive. So morality is something different. It is not that what has already been practiced that has to be practiced by me. It is not that. And what is already there that I have to follow, imitate. No, it is we have to reflect upon it. Hmm? Because we are all human beings and human society is closely connected with the non-human world. So when the vision of a human being changed and finds the whole network, how we are related to each other, so our ethics also, our morals also changes, right? So it goes by, morality goes by the goodwill. What Kant says, it is runs by, or it is goes by, it goes by the goodwill. Some laws are also amended due to the urgency of the hour, where reflection plays a prominent role. Thus, morality is not a dead principle, but a very dynamic and a lively one, in the sense that it enables one to filter the existing codified one and enrich it by adding something new or extracting something irrelevant, and thus makes the possibilities to be included open. Morality cannot be identified with customs, laws, habits, pleasure, happiness, utility, and so on. It is a matter of one's existence and excellence with the existence and excellence of others. Repeat, morality is a matter of one's existence and excellence with the existence and excellence of others, irrespective of caste, color, creed, sex, and gender. Both Abhyudaya and Nishraya for all are the goals of the morality, or in Indian terminology, it is called dharma. Depriving, depriving, it is not the sense of dharma, but it is a sense of dharma. Depriving of one from attaining any of them is immoral or adharma, provided the deprived one should be fit for that. Aristotle also subscribes to this view. There is a view that is called legal positivism, is of the view that there is a difference between law and morality. What is law is morally indefensible, and what is morally defensible may not be a law. Hence, the meaning of right, duty, obligation in the legal sense is different from the meaning of these terms in the moral sense. A lawgiver does not prescribe morally binding duties or confer morally defensible rights. There can be evil laws and corrupt legal systems. We cannot say that the morally objectionable laws and legal systems are not laws and legal systems, though they are objectionable, though they are defective, still we call them laws. But in case of morality, we cannot say that a defective moral is moral. A defective moral practice or moral principle is a moral principle. No, it is not at all. Both supporters and opponents treat them alike laws, though unjust and corrupt. Law is a human construct, and what is treated by humans as law is a law. Thus, up to this, we find a chasm between law and morality. What is a law may not be moral, and what is moral may not be codified by the authority, right? So this is the general view, and in this dichotomy between law and morality, Immanuel Kant enters into the scenario. His thesis is that moral law. Yes, we have seen on the one side there is morality, and on the other side there is law, but Kant speaks of moral law. From this, it appears that is it a reconciliation between morality and law? Because he speaks of moral law. Is it a reconciliation between morality and law? Certainly, this is not. Then what it is? If moral law is not a reconciliation, if it is not a meeting point between legal system and moral system, then what it is? Kant very emphatically says that the objective of the law is to create an ambience by which law means by law he means sometimes morality, and ethics is something different, and sometimes because he has not used morality and ethics in one way, because in a variety in interchangeably Kant also uses the term. Is of the view that Kant is of the view that the objective of the law is to create an ambience by which everybody would feel free to discharge their duties and enjoy their rights, by which harmony would not be in jeopardy. And laws are necessary to curb the blind instinctive pursuits, and punishment is also must. But moral law is categorical. It is out of respect for it. It is unconditional. It is the law of freedom. Morality is the law of freedom. But the sense of freedom in both cases is different. Law, the objective of law is freedom, and morality is freedom. Though both are concerned with the concept of freedom, still the concept of freedom is different in both cases. How? Something, no one is there to hinder you, because you have a right, and you have the person the other than you also has a duty. So right and duties, they go together, right? If I have a right to express my something that I want to say, I have also a duty that must not hurt others, that must not encroach the moral, the mental setup of the other person. If I have a right to drive my bike, then I have also duty that others should not be should not get inflicted, should not get injured by my driving. This is the case. So it is the law of freedom, but the sense of freedom in both the cases is different. Achievement of external freedom is the objective of the law, but morality is freedom from the push and pull of inclinations and desires. That means Kant speaks of internal freedom. Morality is a matter of internal freedom. Internal freedom means freedom from the push and pull of instincts and inclinations. Moral action is free action. Freedom is neither the objective nor the ground of morality, but morality. But in the case of the law, freedom is the object. The source of moral law is reason. It is expressed in three maxims that I need not want to express it, that everybody, you learned persons, you know the three Kantian principles that take the dignity of person not of others only, but of oneself also. This implies that morality is not a matter of show, but led. I mean to say that morality is not a matter of my concern with towards others, minus me, rather it includes both, because I have a duty to myself and I have a duty for also others. This is Kantian position. There is no distinction between private and public morality. The only rationale is that moral decisions should be exempted from the force of instinct. Personal morality cannot exist and flourish except in the context of civil society. But nowadays, what happens? Law is made on the basis of whims, on the basis of the general will, what people demands, without taking care of the welfare of them and their future generations. We only just believe in the present, and due to the vote bank, the motive behind us is to how to gain popularity, and accordingly laws are passed without thinking of the future of human being and the country. So what Kant says that laws should be formulated without such type of activities, which are without such type of motives. So personal, there is no distinction between. I have already told that there is no distinction between private and public morality. The only rationale is that moral decisions should be exempted from the force of instinct. Personal morality cannot exist and flourish except in the context of civil society. The state promotes morality through the laws, but it cannot encompass the whole life. The whole life. Here, there is a problem. I mean to say the whole life. This is the point. The doctrine of law concerns only with our duties of outer freedom or juridical obligations. Civil authority can use the method of coercion to enforce its laws, but it cannot and doesn't try to legislate or enforce any reasons citizens may have for obeying its laws. It constrains the citizens from violating the due of others, but it cannot insist that they do so because they respect them. Morality cannot be legislated as the internal forum, that is, moral character is much richer than the external one. Because whenever a law is passed, whenever a justice or whenever judiciary passes a law, in case of one person, that is lawful. We say that, oh, Supreme Court or High Court, it passes a law. That's all right. We do not raise any question. But we feel within ourselves, no, that should not be at all. So, in this sense, morality is much stronger, is much deeper, the sense of morality than the law. Because what is lawful may not be moral, right? Uh, moral, it is self-legislated. Morality is self-legislated and self-constrained. It is called the duties of inner freedom. In the foundations, Kant wrote that the motivation behind an action determines. It is not the consequence, but the motivation that decides the moral content, the moral worth of an action. The most fundamental authority in each person's life is her or his regime. Each has the power of autonomy. Laws is an action guide in the sense that out of other alternatives, it stresses that this is what one should do instead of saying what should be the conduct of an individual to abide by the law. The lawmaking authority should address the question of what should people do. Here, this is the third part, that whether law and morality can meet together. The lawmaking authority should address the question of What should people do taking all considerations into account, failing which the purpose of the law is defeated? The judge or legislator must at least preempt any reasons on the ground that a citizen may take a plea for not obeying the law. That means a law must not only take all the present conditions into account, but also the possible conditions where one would not come forward to challenge it. A law must be exhaustive, and there should not be any alternative ground for the citizens to breach the law. But the question is it possible to exhaust all the possibilities? Of course, the situation changes, new circumstances emerge, many problems arise, and they need to be addressed. But if the motive of the state is to bring control over the society, then it takes the form of expediency, because a law should not be made only to control the masses, but it should be made for the welfare of its masses, not taking the majority but all. But here the problem is, um, the creation of conducive conditions for enjoying one's right and discharging one's duties should be the prime motives of a welfare state. A legislator must be insightful than a popular one, because in the mindset of a populist, the problem cannot be solved. A law should be made not arbitrarily based on whims or with a motive of political gains or as a controlling agency or mob psychology, but upon reason. If the law is based on a dharma means righteousness, the principle of the principle sorry the principle of the prince sorry the principle of excel lets other excel, then many problems will get solved. It is not that there would be a problem free world, but a world of fewer problems created by man due to the force of instincts and self centered inclinations. The values of fairness, equity, justice, honesty, dignity, abstention from violence, and other values that promote cooperation, coexistence, play a prominent role in the law. A holistic approach on the part of the authority or legislator of the law is highly solicited. This is all about my submission to the august learned participants, and I am thankful to the philosophy family for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak. Really, congratulations for your very innovative paper, and you have also made a very conceptual clarification of the all concepts like law, morality, and the relationship, and you have also made a clear distinction between them. As you have said, I want to speak a little that law is a codification, and it is a codification to maintain a harmonious and peaceful existence. You have also explored on the concept of morality, and you have said that how laws are imposed externally and morality is imposed. Morality is an internal affair, and very clearly you have said that what's legal may not be moral, and what is moral may not be legal. It's very clear, and your philosophical reflection on law and morality is very much benefited to all of us. And you have also made a uh, very clear relationship between law and morality. That law and morality can meet together, and laws should be made for the welfare of the masses. And for this, laws should be value centered. Thanks so much. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. K. Omnan Rao to carry on the interactive activity. Over to Dr. Rao.
Namaskar, everybody. Thank you very much, Bijay, for me, and I also learned a lot from this paper. Well, to start with, may I request Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir to start to initiate? Um, I think he is here with us. May I request Dr. Ghosh to have his observations, comments, and queries? Dr. Ghosh, is he here? Is he present? I don't think he is present. He is not present, probably. He was there. Anyway, if he is not there, may I request Srinivasan sir to start with? May I welcome Professor Srinivasan Krishnamurthy sir to have his words. Sir, please. I think Srinivasan sir is not there. I'm not finding any response from Srinivasan sir too.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes,
Good
yes, sir.
evening, sir. Good evening to the philosophy family members, and thanks to the admins and also Professor Bijay Kumar uh, Nayak for his excellent speech on law and morality. That I've been watching about this uh, very closely about the topic. I understand that he has given a panoramic view, or would I say that summarized a general coverage about law and morality. It would have been better, in my opinion, that if he had analyzed the practical analysis of the applications of law and morality in India, especially, that would have given a fillip to your talk. But that is, well, it is up to the speaker to decide about it. But that is my perception. And you have also mentioned about Immanuel Kant. There are also huge number of Western philosophers like Aristotle, John Royce, Margaret Somerville, Thomas Aquinas, Frederick Nietzsche, and others. They are given, I mean, they are all very influential ethicists. Why I speak about ethics is moral is basically based upon ethics. So they have spoken about variety of subjects like virtue ethics, natural law, altruism, beyond good and evil, and categorical imperative, etc. A lot of theories have been expounded and ideas have been put forth by all these philosophers. And we also learned all this ethics and morality in our own scriptures. So, if you have highlighted all those things, definitely that will give you a booster for your beautiful talk, even though it was based on law and morality. But, but still, I am tempted to ask you about the practical analysis about all these things, sincerely speaking, do we follow this? Is my question to you. The second question is, do we follow law or do we follow ethics, in other sense, morality? How to eliminate this? The law which produces positive peace, but whereas we find in most of the places only negative peace. The difference between the positive peace and negative peace is the behavior of the people in the particular region. Take, for example, Kashmir, where negative peace is existing, but not a positive peace, whereas in other places, it is positive peace. So there is a lot of difference between positive and negative peace. It comes only from the law. The people oblige, there will be positive peace. If they revolt, then there is going to be anarchy and civil war, and authorities do not hesitate to take control of the situation and action, and a negative force or a negative peace is established. It is not a permanent solution. Law creates the study of moral phenomena or creates the constitution. So all these things, I think law and morality are related to each other and share the same aim of uplifting moral standards and eventually prosperity, peace, and harmony in the society as well as in a country. And I'm also happy that you spoke about a word on Vasudeva Kudumbakam. In morality, there is no deterrent punishment for committing immoral acts, but in law, it is entirely different. So I would like to, ask the professor to give a very brief explanation about my doubts, and thereby I am, I mean, uh, thankful to you for your, deliberations and answer. Thank you.
Okay. A very pertinent question, sir, you have raised. But in case of human rights, making laws is not the only factor to to minimize that sort of negative piece or the difference, disparity between negative and positive piece. Law is a factor, but in addition, mindset needs to be changed in terms of decision, in terms of a group or cultural programs, in terms of exercising their exchange of ideas. So all these things are to be prepared, are changing the mind of people. Because if somebody says to me that Bijay, you don't take any drugs, but whether I would take or not, that depends on myself. And why? Because my mindset, if my mindset is for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, then I would not do that. But if my perception is that I should live happily, I should live happily according to my knowledge, that may not be happy life at all. But my ignorance may my ignorance may induce me that I am living a happy life, but I am not really living a happy life. But I think that I feel that I am living a happy life. So that would not be that be materialized. So in addition to law, side by side, we have to do all these constructive things to bring a change in the perception of people of that region. It will take time. It will not be done immediately, but this sort of perception should be infused into the minds of the people of that region. So this is my submission.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
So, with the response from Bijay Nayak sir, well, let us move to Roma Vani madam, and then we'll come to various other okay discussions. Let us move to Roma Vani madam. Let us listen from her what she has got in store. Roma Vani madam.
Namaskar.
Madam, namaskar, madam. Please,
Namaskar.
please, please, madam.
Good evening to everybody. I am always thrilled being with the family members and always so much to learn. And today, although I got disconnected for a little while, but I clearly understand, how Professor Saab has today explained to us how he divided his talk in the three sections and how we must understand law as being man-made to keep some kind of um, peace and yes, law and order, you know, and morality, how it is very, very internal. Morality, the standards, the degrees of morality are very, very personal. And I think even as we ascend in our spiritual levels, the degree of morality also increases because suddenly we become very sensitive to our behaviors, reaction, or action upon the society around us. And the way it was related, the way professors have related the two. I really thought I went into a critical analysis of, the laws that we make and our morality, which may, to some extent, of course, morality may be influenced by the laws that are made, no doubt. But again, it is very, very, very internal. And thank you once again, Professor Saab. Morality, I think, is really the highest degree, and as we talk about the seven heavens and we talk about the seven hells, so I think even in personal behavior, it really surpasses ethics and rules, regulations, and patience and faith, because morality is what each human being is. Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Roma madam. Well, one thing that comes to my mind here. Well, when you talk of law, we talk of codes. So we have a codified law, and we try to abide by the law. And any violation, we it invites a sort of punishment, and that is external, as Professor Nayak said. It is something external. But when you talk of morality, it is something confined to our own self, something that is internal. But then we do have moral codes too. We do have moral codes. When we structure certain things, this is moral. We talk of codes. There also we do codify what to do, what not to do. It depends how far we take those codes, and that defines our morality. So it is not the fact that we don't have moral codes. We do have moral codes. That's a bit of submission that I wish to have. Like in law, the general law, we do have codes even in the practice of morality. And how far we implement those codes in our personal life, it depends. The degrees, the levels, they differ from person to person. So this is
Dr.
one,
Yeah,
madam,
Dr. Rao,
madam,
I mean,
madam.
may I just, while you talked about this punitive, the punitive authority of law, let me tell you, even in internal and personal morality, there is a punishment. Because you see, we human beings, though we may have our own standards of morality, but sometimes, maybe due to temper, huh? Even if I don't want to do something in a normal way of life, but if I am angry And that temper, when I lose my temper, I lose my control on my own codes and my own internal rules, regulations, what I've formed for myself. And sometimes when we fall in our own morality, also, the punishment, I think, is worse than what a codified law and order can give us. They may send us to jail, they may, fine us, but that internal beating that one gets, oh, God forbid, I'm sorry. Please, Dr. Rao, do go on.
Yes, true, madam. Nicely said, very nicely said. Well, when we fall on, well, we don't want to do certain things, but the things are not in our control. We have done, or we go through certain exercises which probably we don't want to, but because of the time, the circumstance, we have come across certain things, and there is a moral punishment. The way the punishment is external in case of when you take law as it is, but when you take morality, there is a punishment, there is a different code. The punishment is within you. You feel a sense of grief, a sort of remorse, a sort of guilt that you exercise. It is much bigger than the external punishment that we get from the courts, or any other judgments that we get from the courts. But the internal grief, if you are really having that moral sense within, if we really have a moral sense within us, and find that we have failed somewhere. Okay, we don't want to, as you said, we didn't want to do certain thing, but it has come out of us, out of anger, out of something, some external factor that has compelled us to do certain thing. But later, the realization that has come to us, okay, maybe the amount of grief, the amount of pain that gives us, it is much bigger than the pain of an external punishment. So this internal punishment that we subject to ourselves, I think, again, you have said, rightly pointed out, it is much more, it is having a much bigger dimension than the external pain. But the point is whether that sort of grief, that sort of remorse is really coming to us. If it is coming, we are really a committed moral person. If it is not coming, if that sort of remorse, that sort of grief is not coming within us, then maybe somehow we are lacking in moral sense. Well, I see Professor Das on the screen. He is he could not wait. So, well, some good things are going to come. So, Professor Das, please, your points.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Both audible and visible.
Thank you. Thank you. I congratulate Bijay sir for delivering a very beautiful talk. I am really happy. The point is, we have a sense of value. We all have a sense of value. If we are really rational, if we are really educated, then we have a sense of value. It's a very common thing. We have a sense of value, that this is good, this is bad. This is morality. If we go with the sense of value, it is morality. If we go with simply facts, it is laboratory, scientific laboratory, something else. But if we think of a value, and we have a sense of value, then it is moral, ethical, and this is the highest paradigm. Why? Because under this, everything is an object of evaluation. Even we can say law is also an object of evaluation, whether this law is good for the society, good for the nation, or it is a bad one. Because we are the lawmakers. Human beings make law. A machine does not make law. Human beings, we are the people, we the government, we create laws. So laws, creation of laws are secondary. The primary concern is our sense of value. So morality is the highest paradigm, in which law is a part, object of evaluation. But Once the law is made, legislated, then we are bound to follow that law. This is the second paradigm. We are free to make laws. So far as the laws are not legislated, it can be amended, and after legislation also it can be amended. So there is a possibility of change in laws because laws are created by human mind, so it can be changed also. So laws are secondary. But once we accept that law, once it is legislated, we are not free to disobey it. This is the point. So here comes our intention is to be good. That is the transformation. That is the goal of life. But our instincts are different. Sometimes we love the principles, morality. That's all right. But there is a chance of a violation because we are misguided by our sense organs and other infatuations like this. Therefore, law is an external imposition which can make us self-control, and we shall be law binding. That is also necessary to lead the society towards the perfection. Otherwise, it is impossible. Otherwise, it is a personal self-imposition which has no guarantee. Therefore, there is an external imposition, the same thing that is called law. The second point is morality is relative by nature, relativism, because man lives in context. As the contexts vary, therefore we talk about applied ethics, we talk about the ethical relativism, that this is good in this context, but the same thing is bad in another context. Perspectivism will come. In that case also, law helps to remain to regulate this moderation, this change, because there is no guarantee of a human mind that somebody will be the head and he or she will guide the moral function. No. Therefore, because there is ethical relativism, there is perspectivism, that is contextualism, so there must be a law which will deal with these contextual changes. In that case also, law is very much useful. Law is also beneficial for the human race. But the point is, I shall say here, both law and morality are universal by nature. No, but nothing is personal. Moral law is a universal law because it is accepted by all, and the law that has been legislated once, it becomes universal. So both are universal paradigms. So naturally, as a human being, though we have personal feelings, personal life, personal imagination, we can enjoy ethical values. But so far as we are a responsible person, we are a citizen, we live for others. There are many contextual changes. In that sense, I shall be a political being. I shall be a man of this empirical world, man of this. I shall be a social human being. In that case, we should we should respect law. That will make us social. That will make us disciplined in the society. But in the personal life, we need peace of mind. We need freedom, and there we should give more priority the sense of value that we like or I like. Thank you, sir. This is my submission, and I appreciate the talk of Bijay sir. Yes, there is a beautiful link between morality and legality, law and morality. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Das, for your observations. And listening to you, two things come to my mind. Number one, as you said, that morality as a value is primary. It is primary to the very construction of the setup called as a human society. But it is primary, and morality as a value is primary. But when we talk of law, it is something secondary. When we talk of law, it is secondary. And when I say it is secondary, so long as the legality of, the structure of the law that we have framed, it abides by morality as a value, this law at the secondary level makes sense. It turns to be universal, but depends on the degree to which it abides to the value, the moral value as a principle, how far it comes close to the value. Okay, but as Professor Bijay Nayak sir has pointed that it doesn't happen. Sometimes whips and whims of the people in power, they try to make something being codified as a law much in contradiction to the value system, the value, the morality as a value at the primary level. There is problem arises taking that law, some sort of contradictions. There the morality lies at stake. There the morality is tested. There lies the problem. So this is number one. Now the second thing, yes, Professor Das, yes. This is one. But as long as we have a legal framework that goes on with the value system, then there is nothing, there is no problem in creating the laws that we frame by the legislative bodies, taking a universal shape. But giving a universal shape has become problematic because the laws that are framed do not or may not confine themselves to the very structure of the value system. There lies the problem. If they go hand in hand with the value system, then maybe these laws may take a universal structure. This is number one. Number two is when we talk of a law, okay, a structured law, a codified law, one may escape punishment. One may escape punishment. Okay, somebody has committed a crime, but he has got a very good lawyer who could defend and prove in the court of law by by manipulating things and presenting things much in the form of an evidence to show that his client is not wrong even though he's committed a crime. So there is an escape, there is a chance of escaping from the law, the external law, but there is no escape from the divine law. There is no escape the moral law. So that is how even though the person may escape from the judgment of being punished, but if he goes deep into what he calls himself, he is very much clear and precise that he has committed the crime. If he is really a man of morality, someday or the other, maybe on the deathbed, he will realize that some crime he has committed and for which what has happened. Maybe I may be wrong, but still this goes on. Well, Roma ma'am, madam has raised her hand. Please, madam.
And Dr. Rao, thank you so much. See, this is what I was saying, that laws are made for society, not for individuals. So we say this is the height of peace, but at least all of you try to do this. So morality is the height, and for society, and as you rightly said, a thief will be punished only if he is caught and evidence is there that he has stolen. But in morality, each human being, by as Professor Das told us, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, these are the things that control our actions, reactions, our whatever activities. And then, as you rightly said, and thank you so much, that we cannot escape our own hearts, where we know the secrets of our heart. We cannot escape our punishing ourselves, But law is made to generally keep a society at par. Minimum, you do this, try to do this, so that when we waver, that kind of fear will at least help us to live by, a common code of morality also. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you
Dr.
so much
Rao,
for your. Sir, please.
I will respond.
Yes, sir.
What I said, and after me, Dr. Rao said, and finally, Roma Madam said that we have a sense of value. Therefore, all the points what Dr. Rao said, that for this there is not a coordination, for that there is not a coherence, for this that is not practical, there is lack, there is gap between morality and law. There are also exceptions. There are exceptions, excuses. All these are there only because of the lack of morality. So once we frame a law, suppose I am the father of the house, my family, I framed a law that nobody will come outside from outside after 10, but myself will come at midnight with drunk, and I shall misbehave in a family. So that does not make any sense. Because I am immoral, I cannot frame that rule, and if it is framed, nobody will obey me. Therefore, there is disagreement against the government laws also, and there is a scope of amendment in the. We can amend a law. Law can be amended. Law can be changed. There is a deviation. There is a negligence. There is exception only because we are not moral. We create a law and we hesitate to follow it, to lead it, to give training to people. Number one. Number two, we see some people creating the problem. They do not abide by laws. They are misusing laws. Such complaints come against of very few people, those who are in power. But the real criminals, intellectual criminals, are those who silently observe that, discuss that on the screen, but never take that law, the same law, against this law. We just remain silent and discuss the matter. This happens to, because we don't want to take risk. Let them do what they do. They will get their result either in this court of law or by karmic law, divine law. Let them do whatever they know. That is not the point. There should be revolution in society. Intellectuals should come forward to speak against such exceptional cases where laws are misused. Because we have created, we have a right to correct it if it is misused by anybody else. And time has come. Now we are not living what the time was before 50 years. The time has been changed. There are some miscreants, there are some problems. Those such people will live. But we are living in a time of transformation. We are living in a better time than before. Still we should hope that we shall live still better. We educated people should come forward to negotiate this gap by giving proper mentoring, education to the common people and to the intellectual people. I think, sir, I agree with both doctor, all people
May,
discussing this important matter. But there is a
may,
possibility of a negotiation because
may I interrupt here?
we have created, so we shall take care of the law. Thank you, sir.
May I
Yes, sir,
intercept here?
Professor Srinivasan. Professor Srinivasan. Yes, sir, please.
I don't agree with what Mr. Pramod Kumar Das has, informed about that people should come forward to and intervene. It's something next to, large thinking. I would say that It is not possible in the present circumstances when bombs and bullets are just ruling the, country. You cannot, take. Everybody will be scared to speak about the law or the society harmony and peace. But you can effectively say that. In practicality, I don't think it is possible, sir. I would like to have your reaction on this.
Okay, we can have the response of Professor Das later because somebody Lisa she wants to have a word on the topic. Let us see what she has got in store. Lisa, because she raised her hand. Is it? Do you want to say something, Lisa? Otherwise, we'll go to Professor Das.
No,
Yes,
no,
Lisa.
sir.
Yes,
No, sir. No, sir.
yes, please.
No,
Yes,
sir.
please.
Thank
No, no, no.
But
Okay,
Dr.
okay.
Srinivasan ji, please repeat your last sentence. Last sentence or last two sentences. The second question that you asked. First I understood. The second two lines you asked me, please repeat, sir. I could not hear you. The first question was whether it is possible to make all people um, um, to respond, all the intellectual people. This was the first question. My answer is yes. And how yes, I shall explain. What was the second question?
Go on with the first question, sir. Go on with the
Yes,
first
yes,
question.
yes. Thank you, thank you. It is possible because we are now observing also the change. I told that it is already possible. We are progressing day by day. We are having a very beautiful. Now you see, the whole India is clean. Clean. That is a great thing. All the cities are clean, widened. We are living in a very beautiful society. All people are now aware of what the traffic rules, etc. Medical facilities are there. So there is a hope. Law is not a great thing. We are the lawmakers. Only there is a problem of dogmatic thinking of a principle, and without having a critical mind to see everything openly. That is the problem. So we people can, we have created law, and we can change the law, and we can revolt against law, those who misuse law. We can do, but we are silent. Educated people, intellectual people, mass, they are silent. Therefore, there is a less chance of revolution, change. This is the point. So it is not impossible. It is possible. We should hope for that, and that is education. If it is not possible, then it is not education. Thank you.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello, Professor Das. Professor Das. Hello.
Yes, yes, Dr.
Yes,
Maharana. Dr.
yes.
Maharana, please. Huh?
Okay. So I was listening to your observation. You have said that we are the lawmaker, and we are framing laws, and we can also ignore the laws. Then who is the lawmaker? If we come to the moral law, who has the yogyata of framing a moral law? Who has the yogyata of framing a moral law? If we frame a moral law and we forget that we are disobeying it, then we have no yogyata of framing the moral law. Then who has the yogyata?
Moral law is relative. You cannot frame a moral law for all the time to come, and for all the contexts where the same law can fit into. There is no such moral law. Moral laws are relative. We have to admit it. Number two, laws are also relative to some extent because laws can be amended. So nothing is a fixed rule. Neither morality is fixed, granted, and nor the law is also free and granted, which can never be amended. Everything can be amended. So therefore, there is a flexibility. Number one. Number two, both are universal. If there is a law, it is meant for law. If very few people, either in either side, Suppose few people are immoral, they are free to be immoral. And suppose some people are doing crimes, they are free to do crimes. We cannot have any break and clause. They are either free to be immoral or free to a criminal. But they should not be a criminal and they should not avoid the law. Why should not?
But
Because
but
because
but sir,
because
but sir,
because that is the concern of morality. They should not be like that. I have a very beautiful slogan what I told in AOPA regarding law and morality. What we can, we should not. What we can, we should not. Suppose I can do many things according to law, nobody can give any complaint. I can do something right according to law because law permits, but I should not. This is an ethical concern. So the freedom of living which is sanctioned by law that we can do, we may not do. We should not do. So we cannot say living a legal life, the moral life is totally out. And in this side also living a moral life that legally we are neglected or we are ignored, that is also not true. Because the human being is the common point that has created law and that has a sense of value. Both are the possessions of human being only. So he will guide morality with mind and heart, but when in case of rigorous law, he has to abide by it. This, otherwise will go to jail to be punished. That is the point. Thank you, sir.
okay. Thanks, thanks so
Hello,
much.
hello.
But
And,
I would
okay.
like to move to Professor Bijay Nayak.
Yes, you want
Sir,
to say something? Yes, sir. Vijay sir,
hello.
please, please.
Hello. I want to speak
Vijay sir,
something.
please.
I want to speak something. Sir, Rao
Yes, sir,
sir.
Of
please,
course,
please.
yes,
Yes, sir,
yes.
please,
Okay.
sir, please, sir. Yes, sir.
As I have understood from the talk of Professor Bijay Kumar Nayak, the morality can be challenged, law can be challenged, but the moral law or moral principles cannot be challenged. It is not relative. It is something unconditional. If you take the examples like help the poor, speak the truth, a Brahmin ought to engage himself in worship, etc. These are the moral laws. These laws are not relative. They are unconditional. They are universal, and they cannot be challenged. What is the
Yes,
view of Professor
yes,
Naik?
yes, Dr. Maharana. From the discussions that you all have contributed to my knowledge is that if our goal is for a peaceful living, then laws and morality are all the instruments, are the factors of our transformation. But the difference is that in case of law, whether we are really transformed or not, that is a matter of law, because law, a parliament cannot make a fool wise, an immoral moral. So what depends upon what depends is that it is my conviction, if I am committed to the whole human society and the whole non-human world, so my perception, that matters. What you say, help the poor, help one in need, tell the truth, the particular values can be related. That's all right. But the way we approach, that may be different, but the principles cannot be related. I mean to say that if the purpose is that India should excel and all the people should live happily. If this is our purpose, so laws would be made accordingly. If my purpose is to make India something different, so laws would be made accordingly. So that depends upon my perception. If in case of take the case of international law, if every country tries to formulate the law with a hope, with the vision that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is our motto, then laws can be different, but morality can never be different. Because laws are made according to the need of the land. That's why differences in laws, but not in the morality, means I mean to say that objective. That means that means achievement of or accomplishment of the goal in and through the different framing of laws, different formation of laws and morality. That is, we have to think in a global way and act as per the law, as per the morality that we perceive, that we imbibe in our day-to-day life, in and through all the circumstances that matters. So how I have already pointed out that morality is not a matter for others. Minus me, it includes myself and others. If my goal is that sarve bhavantu sukhinah, then in whatever way I act, I have to I have to remain myself and others also will remain happy. So this is my submission. Okay. If you have any doubt, please, if
Thank
any
you.
clarification.
Thank you, Professor Nayak. Very beautifully you said. When we talk of morality, it is morality. Okay, whether we talk of we are talking about India or any other part of the world, morality is morality. It has a standard. It is some universality. The way you say humanity is humanity. Whether I speak of India, whether I speak of America, whether I speak of England, humanity is humanity. But when you talk of legality, a legal sense is framed as per the requirement of the land. So I have my legality in terms of the conditions that my land requires. The people in America may be having a legal format as per the requirements of their own country. So, but when you talk of humanity, it is humanity, whether we are in America or Rome or Africa or India. So that's the way, very beautifully you have said. There's a very good point that I got from you, number one. Number two, laws are laws, and a parliament, whether it is a British parliament or an Indian parliament, it is making laws only to keep people together, only to make a system workable, only to make that people are organized, they believe in a certain pattern, they exhibit a certain pattern so that there is harmony in the society. Okay, but parliament cannot make an immoral man moral. So that's the beautiful point that you have made. Parliament has no role whether I go moral or immoral. It is up to me. Parliament has no role, but it can put a point on me, it can have a break on me in how I exhibit my behavioral pattern. So morality, it is something, it is self-dependent, but when we talk of legality, it has a universal application and have to be within that scheme. And if my morality fails, somehow I fail in my legality also. And that's how I see your last line, this line that the parliament cannot make an immoral man moral. That makes sense. Really speaking, Parliament cannot make it. It can only make laws in order to regulate individual. But whether he is regulated or not, okay, Parliament is some sort of silence is there. And if he is not regulated, he may be in bars. Okay, so very beautiful two things that I've learned from you. Thank you so much. Well, Srinivasan Krishnamurti sir wants to say something. Please, sir,
Yeah,
please. Yes.
yes, sir. All of us, I think, have been discussing about or deliberating about the law and morality is pretty good. But switching over to Professor Das' observation or speech that everyone should rise up and then correct the society is something is pretty good in letter and spirit, but in practicality, I think all of us have failed to highlight uh, the operating aspect of the same, the law and morality. Why I'm saying is that, see, the question is, supposing I raise my arm and raise an objection or give a guidance in the social media, what happens? Parliament can only enact laws, but it cannot implement. The implementation leaves to the rest of the government or the whatever the authorities or enforcement authorities concerned. So my point is, if I raise my voice, there is a kind of political interference which we have failed to observe that the political interference is too high in the present day society, whether it is in Europe or in US or in India or in China or elsewhere. But political interference is really hitting hard, and I am scared that in India I will be branded as Deshdrohi. I will be put in jail. Where is a solution for this? I am not able to understand that we speak or interpret or explain or describe about law and morality, but in practicality, I think we have to make a lot of, observations and recommendations to the concerned government or the society is concerned, so that we can achieve, we can live in a very peaceful, condition with harmony and relationship. This is my observation, Professor
No.
Omnar and
Yes,
Raf.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, one thing that I wish to point out is anybody whoever he may be, he or she may be, anybody going against the very fundamental nature of the land, anybody's actions that goes against the spirit of the country or the land, there is no excuse. So that should be maintained, first of all. If any action in the name of a sort of criticism to the law hints at the very fundamental basis, the very fundamental spirit of the land, then there is no excuse. And as you rightly said, one has to be in bars, put to bars, and there is no excuse to that. Okay. So this is how I see. And as Professor Das said, there can be refinement. Taking it philosophically, yes, we have all come here for refinement. This is a place to refine ourselves. But how far we refine ourselves, it's a matter of time. If we refine, if we get refined, we get absorbed in that ocean. But if we don't get refined, we have to come back again for that refinement. And this refinement will go on, will be on and on till maybe the end of this. I don't know, the end of everything. So, but there is a cosmos, there is a vibration in the cosmos that we have come here for refinement. And if we say that, well, if all of us come to work together to abide the law, this is the spirit of the law. And if we say we cannot obey, all of us cannot obey the law, it's a matter of time, where we have to come out of this sort of psychology to say that, why is it so that we have a law and we have made a psychology to disobey the law? So that is problematic. Well, you see, when you frame a law is subject to judicial review. Like the moral laws are not subject to judicial review. When we talk of legally framed laws, okay, the legislature that frame laws, the laws are subject to judicial review. You can move to the court of law. There, the law is tested. And once it is tested, once it is reshaped, you have to obey the law. Till again, if you are dissatisfied with the law, you can move to the court of law for a further refinement. And not that when the law is in operation, you have not got for a judicial review, but you still say the law is cannot be obeyed. That seems problematic because that goes against the spirit of the constitution. You see, we have a constitution But there are societies without a written constitution. Take, for example, Israel, New Zealand, they don't have a written constitution. But they are organized, they are put in together. How do the societies emerge? We have a written constitution, but we don't know. Many of us, or the maximum population, do not know what the constitution is. So that is again a problematic situation which we need to address to. One example, let me tell you. Have you gone through Article 20? I remember this article like this. 2 then 0. Second 0 means not. Second time not. It means Article 20, it also says that if you are punished for an offense once, you cannot be punished for the same offense again for the second time. Suppose somebody has not committed a crime and he is punished, wrongly punished. After the punishment, he has not committed the crime, but he is punished. Now, after coming out of the jail or something like that, he commits that crime for which he is punished. He had not committed that crime, but he was punished. Now he comes out of the jail, suppose say after imprisonment, he commits that crime. He cannot be jailed. Look at this article. Second time not possible. 2-0. I remember that this as a code. 2-0. Second time not possible. Once you are subjected to a punishment for a crime, you cannot be punished for the same offense for the second time. So you see, where is morality? Where is, you see, a number of things can be debated, sir. But when it comes to law, we have to be with the law. There is a platform for judicial review. So that is my observation. Well, Professor Das.
Yes. What Dr. Nayak and Dr. Rao said, um, that moral laws are universal, just like Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino. Yes, that's true. There is no problem. Imagine a world where all people are moral, and imagine another world where all are immoral, just like there is animals. They don't have sense of morality. In these two cases, there is no requirement of law. If all are moral, then there is no need of law. There is law because there are contextual excuses, exceptions of that universal moral principles. If there is a possibility of a deviation, if anybody deviates, then what will be the course of action? How can we build the society? There we take law as an operative instrument, external imposition upon the human mind in general. So that is the use of law. Otherwise, if we are moral and we all actually live in the sense of Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam, there is no need of police station, there is no need of legislation. So in case of a God and in case of animals, there is no need of a morality. We human beings need morality because we understand the universal value that Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam, and we human beings live contradictorily, live contrarily. We human beings can do deviate those rules which we better understand. There we take law as an instrument to make a society a better society, to make our life a better life. That is the point. But I agree with you that moral laws are universal. They are beyond the geographical boundaries of any country and beyond religions also. Beyond everything, morality is a universal principle. Because laws are required, legislation is required when there is a possibility of deviation of such principle. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also said, when there is a decadence, Bhagavan takes the avatar. Avatar becomes functional to punish the wicked and reward the blessed one. So that is my point. And about Dr. Srinivasan ji, I shall speak only one sentence. We are looking for the young mass. We are looking for the children. They will come to this earth. They are not born. Looking to that generation, I shall say, we people, we can change our society, we can change our legislation, because we are the creator of the laws. So we should live for the that society. That should be our dream. Otherwise, we are satisfied with our present scenario. We should do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. Well, one thing comes to mind that most of the times we think morally, but we act differently. That's the cause of every problem that the human society faces.
Yes.
We are not that
Yes,
we
yes.
don't have a moral sense.
Hello.
Yes,
We
yes.
have a moral sense, but we
Yes,
act
yes.
differently. That's the problem.
But that is the
Hello,
freedom.
Professor.
Man can do either way. Man knows morality, therefore and deviates. Therefore, we need law. Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
there is no need of law. I told that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man
Yes,
makes
sir,
the
Professor.
law, man deviates the law, and
Sir.
man needs law.
Yes, sir. Rightly said. Rightly said. Rightly said. Exactly. Exactly. That's the problem. Well, Professor Nayak, you wanted to say something. Then we move after the comment from Nayak, Professor Nayak. We'll move to Sravani, madam. Let us
Uh,
hear a few lines from her. Okay, Professor Nayak.
Okay, okay, okay.
Professor Rao and Professor Das, I think most of the problems arises due to the misunderstandings of the answer to the question is man moral. When I say that morality is an essential characteristic of man, if I say no, then no question of law and all sorts of good bad doesn't arise at all. So what is the meaning of saying that man is moral? Does it mean that morality is essential to man? If so, then in what sense? This is my question to you all for my clarification. Okay.
Very good question to come forth. Is man moral? Let's Roma, madam. Roma, madam, please.
Hi,
Roma, madam.
Namaskar.
Madam.
Before Naik Sahab asked this question, one other question had also come up that who writes the moral law? So when I first reacted, I remember I used the word spiritual awakening within us, the spiritual moral. So I was just thinking while we were discussing, where does the moral code come from? Now, those who are believers, they get their moral code from the very beginning. If we go by the Bible or by the Holy Quran or by our own, Gita, the moral code for the human being is already written. For example, the 10 Commandments which came down, you know, you shall not do adultery, love thy neighbor as thyself, you should not steal, so on and so forth. Even those who believe that, the very first law that came from God, you shall live here, you have full freedom, but do not partake of the fruit from this particular tree. So the moral code, it has come down to us. The moment the human being was created, depending on whatever scriptures we might follow. So the moral code is already there. And for us being human beings, and as Professor Das also brought out, that immorality, the concept of morality is not there, for example, in the animal kingdom, But what kind of morality? Maybe they have their own morals, which we do not understand. Because I see a sparrow coming and eating something, the first sparrow, and then that sparrow disappears. And after a few minutes, I see that particular sparrow coming back with a group of sparrows. So maybe they also have their moral, rights, whatever rules. So morality is there. Now then we'll say, okay, people who follow the scripture, they have the written morals there. That is their guidebook. Or, by and by, when the many avatars came and when the books came, the scriptures came with the prophets, and messengers, so many scriptures are there. So the moral code is already there for a human being. Hmm. And then it depends. When I said that it is a very personal thing, it's though because every human being is, as I said, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, because, we might lose our morality, which, as long as we are not caught doing that wrong or so-called immoral thing, we are not punished. But the punishment within, because we all know that, I should not have done this as a human being, but I've done it. And that is my secret punishment, because I will, repent about it. Or I might even go into, there are, these Hatha yogis and so many yogis, they punish themselves. I will not eat for so many days. I will not drink water for so many days. There are so many things where people even go for, you know, or they feel, oh, I must not eat cereals. I may just eat only fruits, because fruit is a pure thing. And when we cook food, it might lead me into immoral thoughts or feelings or vibes, because there is no end. There is no end to what the human being is. We don't even have the full knowledge about what a human being really is, and what is destiny, what is life, how many lives are there. Unfortunately, that knowledge is not complete. So I only feel that everything is required. And as Professor Das explained, that, morality is there, but because we are a mixed society, there might be people who do not follow those, moral codes. Again, because they're influenced by the circumstances. Therefore, a man-made law is to be made. Again, the people who are making laws, maybe they are also immoral. And therefore, we have this adage, array, laws are made to be broken. Huh. So that kind of thing. These are just the stray thoughts that came while the discussion was going on, and I took the liberty to share with you. Thank you once again.
Very nice, madam. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes.
Yes. When we are talking about morality, here we are talking about human understanding of morality. Animals are moral, or trees are moral. They have life, so they have the sense of they may have sense of morality, but the way of understanding of a man, the human understanding of morality, that we are discussing. In that perspective, we also discuss human making of laws and its use and misuse. So that is the point. Whether animals are moral or immoral, whether animals are also rational or irrational, that is a separate thing. Here we are discussing how man understands about morality, how man is moral. That is the point. So I agree with my view that we should be very much serious about our understanding of morality. That will make laws better, that will make our society better, that will bring transformation in our morality, and that will bring a very good governance also. Thank you, thank you, thank you all.
Thank you, Professor. That's very nicely said. But one thing we till now we were debating on morality and legality, and we tried to see morality as fundamental, and within its purview, we tried to put in somehow legality. But after what Roma madam has said, and after the question that Professor Naik posed, is man moral? A very good answer to this has come from Roma Vani madam when she tried to see morality itself within the purview of spirituality. So that is the starting point. So whatever you talk of morality, it is already there that has come down from spirituality. So that connection. So within spirituality comes morality, and within and we can make a hierarchy. So that spiritual connectivity resolves the question: is man moral? How far he realizes that he is a spirit. To the extent he realizes that he is a spirit, man realizes when animals may not. Man has that sense to realize. If he realizes he is a spirit, he is not the body, maybe we are close to that spirit, and our moral life may be justified. Well, I take this hierarchy, and very beautifully, Madam tried to corroborate this. Yes,
Sir,
sir, please.
what
Sir.
you what you took from Roma madam, what you took from Roma madam, I also say that. My point is whether morality will be spiritually transformed. That morality we are discussing about human beings. My point is that. In that sense, we are not discussing about how animals are moral or how plants are moral. All the possible transformation of our morality leading to spirituality, that is only discussed about from the perspective of a human beings, his social life, his political life, his life in certain circumstances, all his own psychology. That is the point. So I agree with spirituality. Spirituality is the base which will guide our morality. But this is only a human possibility that we are discussing now. So far as laws are concerned, because laws are not necessary for plants and animals. We have made laws for animals, but they don't need, they don't have that consciousness. This is my submission. I agree with you, Dr. Nayak from the beginning.
So, Dr. Rao,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir. Next, sir. Please. Huh. Next, sir. You wanted to say something, Professor Naik?
what I understand from the discussion of Professor Das, Professor Rao, and Roma Madam, that man as a spirit is moral, but man as a physical body is not moral. But man is a, from the modern psychological perspective, from modern scientific perspective, man is both a combination of spirit and matter, because spirit cannot reside without matter, and matter without spirit is not a man but a dead body. So if we emphasize on spirit only and neglecting the physical forces, then can we lead a practical life? This is what my question, to have a clarification, nothing else. Okay.
Okay, sir. Beautifully connected. Man as a spirit, man as a body. Okay. As a spirit, man is moral, as you said. But when he connects himself to the body, to the senses, to the external cravings, so he somehow sacrifices morality. That as a spirit, he was, that was his essence. Okay. The essence is the spirit. You are talking about the essence. The spirit is the essence. Okay. As if he is with the essence, he is connected to the society as a moral being. But if it is connected with the external cravings, somehow he loses his morality. So this is the last take from Bijay Nayak, which I could understand. And I thank Professor Das and also Roma Madam for their insistence, for their discussion, and I thank especially to Roma Madam, because the spiritual connectivity, the thread that came from Roma Madam, and very beautifully put by Professor Nayak and all others. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank